Going to get to Nick Wright here in a second, and also I need to get to Billy because I don't know what his thoughts are on the coaches poll, but I've been told he's got
Greg's taking stray shots at me for some reason about the coaches poll. I don't know what your deal is. Poo-pooing. I guess you're jealous that FAU's not in there. Couldn't sniff the coaches poll. Wow. That's right. I went there.
Do the coaches have to admit who they voted for? Is it transparent?
I actually have a theory on who it was. I think it was James Franklin because Penn State plays FIU this weekend. That's awesome. So I think that if you're James Franklin and you put your opponent in the coaches poll, then you're like, look, this team was in the coaches poll last
outside looking in.
Yeah, it's a working theory of mine. I haven't proved it yet. I'll talk to Pablo, and in 8 months we'll figure out if that's true or not.
Oh, Nick Wright has a bit of a nemesis issue with Pablo. Before we get to that in a second, bad day to have a nemesis issue with Pablo, incidentally. We'll see what Nick has for Pablo in a second. But first, we've got a new partnership here with Nuttiest Fan. What are we doing here? I've had some of these hot peanuts. They're delicious.
Oh, the Hampton Farms peanuts they're the best. We are doing Nuttiest Fan, Dan.
Left you speechless.
I mean, it is. I was because he said the hot. I haven't had the hot. I've had the spicy dill pickle and just the classic. So I couldn't speak on the hot yet, but they're all fantastic. And it's the Nuttiest Fan, Dan, brought to you by Hampton Farms. Get nutty with Hampton Farms, the official snack nut of the tailgate. And be sure to keep an eye out for Lucy Rodin at Iowa State if you think your team has a Nuttiest Fan. So here's what we're doing, Dan. I'm going to show you 2 college football fans, and you're going to tell me who's nuttier. And then you can go to our Instagram. The fans can vote on this, and we will reveal later in the week who the nuttiest fan is. The first one, we talked about him a little yesterday. It's the Alabama guy. This guy just throwing a bird in the middle. He saw the camera was on him. A deadpan bird. All right, so that's our first option. Middle finger.
That's salted peanuts right there.
That is salted peanuts.
That's good camera awareness.
Mm-hmm. That is.
And some of those dill nuts.
And competing with this Alabama fan is 2 UM fans who had an interesting choice of jersey. It's a husband with on the back of his UM jersey. It says "I blank in peace." Yeah. And then his wife, I assume it's his wife, sitting next to him.
Yeah, you don't know that.
Her jersey just says "peace."
That's a spicy dill pickle peanut if I've ever.
She's
seen one.
the peace. You get it. So these are our 2.
Chris, I can't tell you how poor a spokesman we have. When you're doing the spokesmaning.
Last time he got a sheet steal out of this, so who knows what he can get out of this.
Well, I actually read, the read was fine. It was just, the setup could have been better.
Describing the pictures.
It was the you that was not fine.
So who's the nuttiest fan? Vote at our Instagram. I'm voting for the UM fan.
Okay, excellent work by you, professional as always. Let's get to a real professional, Nick Wright. He has issues and has had issues with Pablo Torre. We haven't
just always doing this, Dan. You're just fanning the flames. Can I say something about your new sponsor? It's positive. It's not negative. I go to baseball games, and these days, you know what happens? You buy a bag of peanuts, and they're unsalted, like they're plain. Like, because the whole idea of the peanut is you put it in your mouth, you crack the shell, you spit the shell out, but it's a lot of flavors in theory. Back when we were a proper country, that's what it was. Go to a Yankee game up here, I don't know, Steinbrenners are saving money on salt. It's just it's a tasteless shell. So I don't know the name of your sponsor, and I don't have any points on the package, but that sounds like a wonderful product that I will now try because I like the dill pickle, spicy, it all sounds good. Now you want to talk about Pablo Torre's tweets? I don't care.
Not yet.
I still want to talk about peanuts. Nick, I have a question for you. So if somebody who eats the shell of the peanut, like just the whole thing, like if it was just one shot, insane or not insane? I have a buddy that eats it
I think
way.
He's saying the whole shell, isn't he? I've done that. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you eat the whole shell when you eat
so
a
I
shelled
don't.
peanut?
You can't do that.
I don't. So I know what you're talking about.
Tony.
But no, I know Tony. I know his name. That's not what I do. But you put the peanut, again, I'm risking getting memed here, but that's okay. You put the whole peanut in your mouth, you crack it open with your molars, you then, if depending on how dexterous your mouth is, you can then, bifurcate the actual peanut and the shell. You spit out the shell.
Like a sunflower seed. Like a sunflower
Yes,
seed.
exactly. Part of that is the delicious coating of the shell.
Ridiculous.
Which in today's days are gone. Now, Tony's saying his buddy just goes one-shotter. But I know some people that eat the apple core. Like, I almost feel like it is either a sign of lack of, like, it feels very cavemanish, like,
an
which
animal.
is not a negative. Yeah, it just feels like, you know what? If things ever really go south and we're all on our own, that guy probably has a slightly greater chance of survival. Like, he hasn't evolved to, contemporary luxury,
That's
which
fair.
is probably positive.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, when you crack a peanut, do you like peel off the skin on it? Because I've read
No.
that it's actually beneficial to you health-wise if you eat the skin.
Yeah, no, you got to eat the. Yeah, I mean, it's not a pomegranate. Like, we're at a baseball game drinking beers. Like, we're not trying to be dainty. Speaking of dainty, put this on the poll. Has Pablo Torre eaten one single peanut in the last 30 years? I'll say no.
Why? What are you doing there?
What are you implying?
It's just come on. Just feel like
I agree with him though.
Yeah, I mean, come on. It just, if we're like Tony's friend who eats the entire peanut with shell, I have a visual image of him, and I feel like I know that guy a bit, and I feel like that guy's not hanging out with Pablo. That's
no, he's
all
not.
I'm saying.
He's definitely not.
Yeah. Am I right? All I know is he eats the whole peanut with the shell. That's all I know. And so, yeah, that's it.
We're at a baseball game together, and we're just eating, and he's like 3 people down. So we start looking, and then all of a sudden, the entire bag is gone, but we don't see peanut shells anywhere. And we're like, dude, what did you do with all the peanut shells? He's like, that's how I eat
That's
them.
a vomit.
Oh, come on.
Nick, you remember a couple years ago when pistachios had a moment that you just saw a bunch of commercials for pistachios, and it was just like this green nut, and you're like, "What is this company?" It's like,
Fantastic.
no, it's just pistachios.
It's just the farmers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when we were growing up, the milk lobby was like, we got to put a lot of money into endorsements. And evidently, again, for the 5th time, and this one complimentary to bring up Pablo, I didn't know there was a tree lobby. I didn't know they had marketing budgets. I didn't know any of this, but I do now.
Well, pistachio seems like a Pablo type of nut. If there's not a classic nut, but he has like the higher end nuts.
No,
would think.
macadamia nut would be the way that Pablo goes. You don't no messiness.
Dan, that's why you're the GOAT. Correct. You just nailed it. That is absolutely correct. Macadamia nut is, if there is a higher draft pick of the exact idea that I'm trying clumsily to convey, I can't think of it. Macadamia nut is correct. And probably if he were on here, he'd be like, did you know that's actually not a nut? Be like, shut up, man. It's a legume.
It's a legume.
It's a legume. No, like, really? Sorry.
I just tried it Tony's friend's way, and the way that Dan says he has occasionally done this, like a circus elephant.
Yes.
I gotta say, for like a one-off, not terrible.
I
edibles.
like
Yes.
changing the texture.
Let me take it for a walk.
It's
Give me
not.
this thing.
It's not gross. You can if you eat 20 of them and you break it up with the entire salty flavor of the shell as well, with the right chosen shells. That's not a terrible decision. It's not.
At the very least, you have to tongue the shell because that's where the salt is.
Hey, yo.
You tongue the shell.
Well,
Oh, you got
that's-
a spicy dill.
You brought us, Greg Cody, you brought us full circle. This is what I'm saying. If you ever come to New York City during baseball season, I'll take you to a Yankee game, buy you a bag of peanuts. That's gross, Chris. And what you'll notice is there's no salt on the shell, which is a bummer.
It's totally unheard of. That's crazy.
Yes. that's
Not
what I said.
terrible.
That's obscene.
It's not
These-
terrible.
Shout out to
that's,
Kiki.
That's how good these Hampton Farms peanuts are. You can eat
What
them
a
shell and all.
I feel like this is the greatest endorsement ever. We're just doing 10 minutes on this product, and I don't even have any. You should mail me some at least.
Macadamia nuts are coming back as a result for the most opulent nut that is available. However, pine nuts
That's
are
what I'm talking about.
Pine nuts are listed as more expensive than macadamia, where pine nuts range from about $22.03 to $51.61 per pound.
No way. Pine nuts. Macadamia nuts are the most expensive nuts.
Well, hold on. Can I ask you a question, Dan? Because even though I've sadly never in person met your father, and he's, an older Cuban engineer, and my dad's an older Italian fireman, I feel like they're similar. Did you, growing up in a room of your house, have, like, at not necessarily at all times, certainly around the holidays, just a bowl of like walnuts and the
Yes,
heart,
the cracker,
and with
yes,
with the and then the like lobster
Yes.
cracker thing
Yes.
just
Yes.
sitting there.
Yes, during
that
the holidays.
occasionally, that occasionally your father might, just to remind you, if push comes
Yes.
to shove, who's in charge, break the walnut in his hand.
Nobody
just
ate
to
those.
show you he could. Nobody ate them, but they were always out. They were available, and it felt like it was an intimidation thing. At least my dad's one of the greatest men I've ever known, but it feels. I bet it was similar for you growing up.
Yo,
That's my
Greg's
guess.
choking.
Greg, can we get you some water? He's having some trouble with the
Choking
simple
on D's.
eating of.
No, these are. I'm eating the hot ones. Best nut I've ever had. These
Wow.
Farms nuts. They're so good. Wow.
Has anyone ever practically used a nutcracker? They're simply decorative, right? Like no one actually goes and like, I need
The
a new
nuts
nutcracker.
he's talking
and
about, you need them.
Yeah, but you're like, my
Yeah.
nutcracker is no longer working.
Unless your dad's a firefighter who breaks them with his bare hands to intimidate people.
With his hand, yeah, just to let people know who's boss. That's right.
We didn't have much money, so the greatest extravagance that we had in our childhood was my father taking us to Sears, of all places, to go to the place where they had the hot nuts. And he would go grab a few of them, and he was pretty famous for just stealing stuff and walking around the grocery store eating it without paying for it. Yeah. And daring someone to say something to him about
My dad
it.
did the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah, they're just samples.
I see people doing that all the time with grapes as well as nuts.
Nick, I want to talk to you about an assortment of football things, but we have a Tyreek Hill problem in Miami. You know him pretty well and followed him plenty when he was in Kansas City, where the Chiefs were smart enough to not allow him to talk in public very often in front of microphones. What can you tell me about what it is you're seeing from Tyreek Hill, who his last year in Kansas City, he was saying we're going to win 7 or 8 championships in a row. He doesn't know how to lose, and now he's not a captain for the Dolphins, and everyone assumes he'll be traded before the end of the year because if they start losing, he's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily agree he's going to be traded because I don't know if they're going to pull the ripcord before the trade deadline. I do know that I'm very excited for Kansas City Chief in 2026, Tyreek Hill. And that's been that has been written for the last couple of years now. This is not a defense of Tyreek Hill, okay? But the Tyreek Hill and the Dolphin situation, it is analogous, and this is going to be awkward and uncomfortable, but it is, I think, the right analogy. If you are in a long-term serious relationship, and somebody cheats, you have a fork in the road moment where you must decide, after a set period of time, am I over it or am I not? And if I'm over it, then it's done with. We will move forward. It will not be consistently brought up. You won't be 6 months later in a fight dropped on you. And if you're not over it, then you need to, and you're not going to be able to get over it, you need to break up. The every week Tua and the team and being like, yeah, Tyreek's got to earn back our trust. Man, Tyreek sure was an ass at the end of last year, up to and including them being the only team in the league where the hands down unquestioned best player isn't a captain after being a captain the last 2 years. It's a half measure. And so I think that's foolish. I think that what Tyreek did at the end of the year was awful. And if the Dolphins wanted to sever ties at that time, so be it.
They can't.
But
They can't,
right,
Nick. They can't.
Right. So then you just got to grin and bear it. Then the public message needs to be, we don't listen to Tyreek. He says a bunch of crazy stuff. The guy runs super fast and is a great receiver, and we love him. And what you can't do is be like, we don't want you, we don't trust you, but we need you. That's not going to work. We all know that's not going to work. So I feel like this is a half measure that I'm not a fan of. I'm also curious for you guys. I don't know what would be more interesting because I think either of these is possible. Do you think it's on the board that Tyreek was voted a captain? And Mike McDaniel was like, nope, cook the book.
That's what I said.
It was just theorized earlier in the show today that nobody would ever. It's the perfect crime.
Let me run another theory by you, Nick. So I think that maybe Tyreek comes in and he's feeling some remorse for how he's handled situations. And he said, you know what, guys? I don't want to be a captain this year. And he showed that he really is a true leader and team captain. by removing himself from the ability to be a team captain, showing both maturity and growth.
Yes, and if that happened, then you know what I do to really put a nail in the coffin of this story? When I'm Mike McDaniel announcing the captains, I announce all of them, and then I say, and one more, back, Tyreek Hill, and everyone claps like, yeah, Ty, because here's the thing, and this is, there would be nothing, and again, I don't think this happened, and this is unfair to Tua, but it is a fun thought exercise. What if Mike McDaniel's counting the votes, and he's like, we got a problem on our hands, boys. Tyreek got more votes than Tua. What we can't do is have that be the situation. Now, he said it was overwhelming for the 6 guys who got it, and that's fine. I think Tyreek was never a captain with Kansas City, which that's the other way to go is be like, this guy, he does a lot of things. Leadership's not one of them, so we're never going to put that on his plate. But when he's been the captain the previous 2 years, this is a little messy, in my opinion.
Hard Knocks concluded last night. It's the most boring Hard Knocks season ever. I know how you feel about the Bills. Did you watch any of that?
I have not watched Hard Knocks the last couple of years. And when you say you know how I feel about the Bills, you mean the only person in sports media who's been right about them every single year the last 5 years, including last year when people said, actually it's a rebuilding year. And old Bills troll, Bills hater Nick Wright was like, nope, they're going to be in the AFC Championship game right again. And I actually think that's going to happen again this year. I did not see it. I did see Sean McDermott yesterday in his annual, maybe even semi-annual at this point, press conference where he's like, people don't understand what great human beings live in Western New York and how amazing our fans are, and doing that whole thing because there is some weird monopoly on Americana based inversely correlated to how awesome your city is. And so he then said twice, he was like, I'm so sick of hearing about the Bills in the Super Bowls. They made 4 straight Super Bowls. That'll never happen again. Oh, really, sir? Well, that's interesting, because the team that kicks your teeth in every playoffs has made 3 straight. That feels to me like a Freudian guarantee that the Chiefs aren't making the Super Bowl. Noted. I haven't noted alongside all of the nonsense I've heard about the defining dynasty of the defining sport of our time. And no one ever again will make 4 straight Super Bowls, unless, of course, the Chiefs do what they do every year, which is make the Super Bowl.
In terms of hurt for you personally, where you invest your mouth and your heart, last year's loss in the Super Bowl for you, and money, yes, money. Your feelings when you lost the Super Bowl last year to Philadelphia and loudly had proclaimed that you wouldn't lose, where did that one rank in terms of after it's over, you're actually hurting?
Worst sports loss of my life, Dan. Thanks for bringing it up on the eve of the new season.
Is it the worst? It's the worst sports loss of your life?
Just financially?
You hit for the trifecta. Financially, professionally, emotionally, all of it. I'm a max pleasure, max pain guy. I know Dan likes the trials and travails of my, financial gain and ruin, so I'll tell you guys a fun little one, then I'll get to the real emotion of it. I had obviously made a lot of bets before the year and during the year, Chiefs future bets. I also am in a it's kind of convoluted, but it is a gambling, what I will call consortium, where future bets are traded like stocks, and you can be like, hey, I'll give you 100 shares of the Chiefs for 200 shares of the Lions, and doesn't matter. Moral of the story is, going into that Super Bowl, because I am such a sharp gambler, I was in a position where if the Chiefs lost the game, I lost less than $10,000. But if they won the game, I won close to 80 because of all the swaps and trades I'd made. So for a normal person, that would be the action. But I'm like, I can't not bet the actual game too. So Chiefs minus 2.5. Give me a lot of that. They're going to win by a field goal, then they got curb stomped. So that wasn't great. The reason it's the worst sports loss of my life, Dan, is multifold. One is pre-Mahomes, the Chiefs never played in big games. I heard my dear friend and mentor Colin Cowherd say Patrick Mahomes got dropped into the greatest situation any player had ever been in. The Kansas City Chiefs, in the 30 years before Patrick Mahomes had gotten there, won one playoff game. In the 50 years before he had gotten there, they'd been to one conference championship game. In the 7 years since he's been there, they've been to 7 straight and 5 Super Bowls. But that's neither here nor there. It was emotionally devastating because they entered that day with the opportunity to become the greatest team in the history of American team sports, and that's now gone. Like, if you win 3 straight Super Bowls, and get to win 4 out of 5, or I'm sorry, it would have been 4 out of 6, and all of it, you're just minted. And I think that they're ever going to have a chance to win one game, be the greatest team of all time? That'll probably never happen again. So, yeah, that's why it was devastating on all fronts. Luckily, in 30 hours, that's last year. And last year might as well be 100 years ago. We're into 2025.
What are you excited about this season beyond the Chiefs?
Oh, so much. I'm excited about the annual tradition of it's not Lamar's fault. Look at the EPA per play. I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited about the cope that we're going to have in late January when Lamar either wins another MVP or comes close to it. And I listen to all the smartest football people I know explain to me how he's actually playing the quarterback position at the highest level ever. And if you look at all of his interceptions last year when there were only 4, 3 of them actually weren't his fault. He's solved it. And then when once again he plays one of his worst games of the year in the playoffs, they're like, sample size, you moron. You think the results matter? You idiot, you Neanderthal. You think there's such a thing as a big game quarterback? Haven't you seen the Ravens DVOA? I'm excited for that. I'm excited for what I think could be a monster year from Baker Mayfield and a team that I think is going to make the Super Bowl, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I am very excited about that. And I am also excited to see what the rationale come around week 14 when Kansas City is about to clinch the AFC West, how all the folks who were like, well, listen, I know Mahomes is great, but have you seen Bo Nix, what they're saying? Because there is no hotter take out there on the sports marketplace than Bo Nix is going to be the guy that dethrones the greatest quarterback of all time, and that's going to age quite poorly.
You couldn't help yourself. You couldn't help yourself, though. I asked you non-Chiefs division, and you always bring it back to the Chiefs. You cannot have an interest that doesn't somehow involve the Chiefs. I asked you non-Chiefs division.
It's 1938. Dan's hosting a physics talk show, and he's like, hey, non-Einstein, tell me what you want. And then you end up referencing somebody, and he's like, you rube. Where's Oppenheimer when you need him? I don't know, man. Yeah, you're right. I do think that that in the 2020s, the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes are the main character of the movie, and everyone else is supporting actors in their film.
I don't like your hostility, and I think it's born just because Pablo's having a big morning.
Big morning.
I think that's what the problem is. That you're just
big morning.
That Pablo's having a big morning, and you hate it, and there's nothing you can.
I don't hate it. That's the thing. I think I really legitimately respect and I think important niche he's carved out. And I mean, there's no other way to in 6. Do you know how groundbreaking your work has to be to in 6 months become, according to Time Magazine, a more influential podcaster than Joe Rogan or Dan Le Batard? I mean, those guys have been working at it for 30 years or 20 years. And I want, listen, here's the deal. I want to root for Pablo. But then occasionally things like his name being in the mini crossword and him tweeting it, okay, fine, I'd probably do the same thing. But then also tagging in the picture the Peabody Awards makes it to where I just can't, I just can't see that exist and not react. Like, it's, again, I'm happy for the guy, I suppose. And the work he's doing is, in our silly cartoon world, quite important. And I do like the fact that he's actually getting the documents and doing journalism. I don't know, I haven't followed up on the Malik Beasley expose because I thought he had him dead to rights, and then I guess the feds disagree. I don't know. I actually tend to side with Pablo on it. So there's a lot of these things that I think are relevant and good. But then, again, there was a moment in time where Pablo's doing the mini crossword. He sees his name, and he's like, this is awesome. And then he's like, I should screenshot it. And then he's like, I shouldn't just text this to my mom or my friends. I should tweet it. And then right before he hit send, he was like, anybody I should tag? Should I tag the New York Times? No. Everyone knows it's Times. What if I tag the Peabody Award? That's just, I'm sorry, that's hilarious. That is objectively hilarious, and I can't get over it. I just can't.
You're not wrong. I mean,
thank you.
I love Pablo, but that was worth lampooning. That is worth, yes.
Also worth lampooning is that he joined us to talk about his story today from the Harvard Club. But what did you think about the actual story? What was your reaction to reading some of the details you've read on what you'd agree would be the biggest sports story of our day? Yes, before football starts?
It's the most important sports story of the day. Now, first things first, just got expanded, so it's 3 hours long. I'm not sure if we have quite enough time in those 3 hours to talk about Kawhi Leonard on the eve of football, but if we get to a fourth hour, I think we would have fit it in. Honestly, you're going to hate this answer, but my reaction is, these are the lengths the league has to go to prevent LeBron from getting 6 rings. It's just unbelievable. He was going to sign with the Lakers. They was going to have AD and Kawhi and rip off a whole bunch of them. And then they're like, we'll look the other way, pay him extra. He wants to be in LA, but we can't have that happen. So that was my first reaction. My second reaction is, it seems a little clumsy. Like, in today's day and age, I would have thought there's easier ways for a multi-billionaire to slide a guy a few $1 million. Like, maybe Ballmer and Kawhi, if this is true, need to spend a little more time in the high-stakes gambling world. There's a lot of ways to transfer millions of dollars that don't involve notarized contracts with LLCs. Like, that seemed odd, but I'm impressed. I'm impressed that they got the info. I do think it's noteworthy. My guess is this gets a little swept under the rug. But anytime you can include in your media that cool, voice distorter thing, it's a win. I'm a big fan of that. And if we were to stack up all of the instances someone was like, I need the face and voice distorter, I don't know where whistle blowing on Kawhi Leonard's extra money ranks on it, but that is I think charming as well.
I'm surprised to hear you say, though, that you're underwhelmed as you are by what might be the ramifications of this, so it doesn't make your 3 hours of conversation today, because I do believe whatever you imagine the penalties are going to be here, if I gave you the penalties today, there would be no circumstance under which you would tell me that's not a story you're talking about.
Oh, so that's actually, if you guys all pull back the curtain a bit, that's actually one of the reasons that I don't think we're going to talk about it today on the show is, to me, it goes one of two ways. Either the NBA turns a blind eye, in which case it's a story, but like it's a better written article, long form podcast thing than 7-minute television segment, or there's real penalties. And if there's real penalties, then we'll have obviously ample time to talk about it. I would set the over under at penalty for this at 1.5 second round picks. And I would probably take the under, because my guess is this is not a shot at the story or the reporting at all. This is more about the league. My guess is it's just easier for them to be like we got to kind of do nothing, because the real penalty, it feels like a Max Min situation. The real penalty would be way, way, way worse than what happened to Joe Smith or the Timberwolves. Is it Joe Smith?
Yes,
Do I have that right?
Yes.
Yeah, the Timberwolves with Joe Smith. And do we think the NBA wants to just generationally kneecap the Clippers and that new arena?
Not the
and
NBA,
Los
but the
Angeles?
other owners. I believe the other owners will be pissed off enough about this. And what you said, which is the Lakers could have had him and were going to have him, and the Clippers evidently cheated in order to get him.
Or does Nick think that the other owners are like, damn it, they're on to our circumvention?
Right.
Well, that's there. I want to be very careful with this, okay? And so careful that I don't even want to say the names.
Go on.
There was a very unique thing that happened with one of the league's absolute super marquee franchises and super marquee players like 7 years ago, where a player who was a clear max player, arguably one of the very, very best players in the league, took less money on an extension than he could have. And it was like $6 million less than he could have gotten. And it saved the team $0 in cap space. They were over the cap, whatever. But it saved the owner like, $30 million, call it, in luxury tax, okay? But it didn't help the team on the court at all. There was no competitive reason to do it. It was, a $100 millionaire player losing out on $6 million. So the owner, who's a multi-billionaire, could save 30. And it never made sense. And the only way that, to me, ever made sense was if the owner was like, hey, man, rather than me send the league office $30 million to pay you $6, here's a flash drive that's got $10 million in crypto on it. I'm going to leave that on the table, and you figure out whatever contract you want. Like, I always felt like that specific instance was so illogical that there had to be like okay, we'll make you whole on the back end. Maybe it wasn't as simple as the, crypto drive, but something. And so I wonder how prevalent things similar to this are, just maybe not as ham-handed as a no-show contract.
Can you guys look up for me some of the information on Anthony Carter with the Heat? Because I remember something happened with him where...
I remember it very well.
Okay, tell Nick the details on this, because I assumed that the Heat had some sort of side deal because
That's
of
what I always
what
thought.
Anthony Carter and his agent ended up doing.
Yeah, I mean, Nick, we're talking back, this is 2004, and Anthony Carter had a player option, which his agent forgot to opt into. The money that the Heat now didn't have to pay him allowed them to sign Lamar Odom, and Anthony Carter ended up missing out on, back then, what was a pretty significant amount of money, and it really benefited the Heat. And I always thought, because I don't think even Anthony Carter fired his agent after it. I was like, he's being made whole somewhere.
Was that Bill
along the
Duffy?
way.
Was that the agent? Like, it's an agent who would never make that mistake. Was that Bill Duffy? Yeah. Like, but you think this is a ho-hummer that the NBA is just going to skip past?
Because I poked fun at Pablo, I don't want to be misconstrued here. I do not think this is a ho-hum story. I think this is legitimately excellent journalism. I think it seems like they've got him dead to rights. I think it is the path of least resistance is to find a way to skip past it. I didn't think it was, and again, people get very, I'll try to be careful. I didn't think it was a ho-hummer when it was like, hey, crazy thing. Maybe the greatest baseball player ever, certainly of our generation, his translator has simply the greatest credit limit of any gambler in America. Oh, okay. No problem. Nothing to see here. And again, maybe this is because I'm very fluent in like legitimate kind of high stakes gambling worlds. That's the type of credit limit that really can only be extended to someone who is known to have tens of millions of dollars. And I didn't think, now again, maybe the translator just had the worst bookie and they just, maybe they thought he's backstopped. I don't know. That to me felt like it doesn't quite make sense to me. But the easiest thing for everyone was to be like, that guy is a gambling addict. That guy's a gambling addict with a very irresponsible bookmaker. It's like, okay. Like that struck me as odd. And so sometimes I think on these things, the path of least resistance is the path people go.
He is the host of What's Right with Nick Wright. He's on FS1's First Things First. You can watch him on First Things First weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on FS1. We have less than 50 seconds left. Your answer or rebuttal to your nemesis Mina Kimes claiming that you fraudulently had two different number one teams, that you told her the Ravens are the best team in the NFL, and then months later you went on with Dan Patrick and said the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL.
Okay,
wow,
well,
controversial.
Mina sets up her show where she gives you a binary choice. She says, I think it was Eagles or Ravens. I could only pick one of them. And so Mina and I almost have to be clear on this because my bosses and her friends thought we really had a real beef. And so I actually adore Mina, and she's obviously much, much smarter about, the most boring parts of football than me. I can kind of just see the actual landscape of the league better. But I had no choice there. And Mina cannot question my take integrity. There's a lot of things. You can make fun of my nose. You can say I might have a gambling problem. You can question how I, got the platform that I did. All those things, you can call me outright obnoxious. That's fine. Do not question my commitment to take integrity in any circumstance. So that's what happened. Obviously, I think the Chiefs are the best team in the league. But again, I'm not as smart as the folks that are like, actually, if you look at adjusted EPA over a 5-year stretch, the Ravens are historically great. And the playoffs, they don't really matter. By the way, subscribe to the podcast, please, you guys listeners. I would appreciate it. What's Right with Nick Wright? Thank you.
It is great, and he does it with his son. And he said we can make fun of his nose. He said we can make fun of his nose.
Dan, I have something better than that.
It's not germane to the conversation.
Dan, I have something better than that. Lewis, can you pull up? He met somebody that is very famous online, and I was very excited to see this collaboration. Once we get it on the screen, it's going to be exciting. Nick, you met Cougine.
Oh, this
looking
is good.
Into a mirror. And Cougine.
Me and Cougine. This was a good bit. This was a good bit we did.
Oh my
me
God.
And Cougine. Yeah. Me and Cougine. That was a good bit. Yeah.
Again, What's Right with Nick Wright. He does it with his son. It's different, and he's allowing us to make fun of his nose. So there it is. He said it is casting indeed a shadow on his teeth.
Casting a shadow on your teeth.
Nick, it's good. It's good to see you. We'll talk to you soon.
Send me some of those peanuts. See you guys.
We'll talk
Bye.
to you soon.
Take care. Brush your hair.
Hey folks, it's Mike Ryan, and it's also football season. That's right, things just kicked off. I celebrated a big dub with my friends and my trusty Miller Lite right there beside me because Miller Time is the secret ingredient to football time. Miller Time makes everything a good time. I love Miller Lite. You know why? Because Miller Lite is brewed for flavor with simple ingredients, rich toffee notes, and that iconic golden color. And here's a kicker, folks. In its 50th year, of existing? It's just 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. The original light beer since 1975 and still hidden 5 decades later. Whether you're at the game or at your home on your couch with your friends, put out a nice little cold cooler of Miller Lite and make sure the drinks keep coming because it is football time and you want that beer that hits different. Miller Lite. Great taste. 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Against the Spread is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Roy, take it away.
All right, we got Yankees at Astros tonight. The Yankees have won 8 out of the last 9 games. They have covered the run line in Houston in the last 9 games against the Astros in Houston, and they are 54-33 against the spread on the road after playing the previous day. So go with the Yankees. They are the favorite tonight. Run a half against the spread.
All right. The NFL, Dan, starts tomorrow. Did you know that? You finally figured it out. We got Thursday Night Football. The reigning champs, Philadelphia Eagles, are playing against the Dallas Cowboys. Again, it's at Philly, but 8.5 is the spread. Dallas is going to be a better team this year than they were last year. Obviously, they didn't have Dak for a bunch, but I think 8.5 points early, the first game of the season, is way too many points. I think the Cowboys offense is going to be a lot better than it was last year. They added George Pickens. They don't really have a running game. Dak Prescott's going to throw about 67 times with Brian Schottenheimer. Give me the 8.5 with the Cowboys. They're not going to win, but they're going to cover, Dano, just like great teams do. Look at the spread.
One of the things that I didn't mention in all of the Micah Parsons talk that we did and why it is that Dallas did the inexplicable thing. You guys want to guess how many years Dak Prescott has been in the league? Anybody? Anybody want to guess how many years?
4.
9.
10.
Yeah, 9.
Rookie year.
10 years he's been in the league.
You were close, Chris.
He's not going to get any better, and they've got 2 teams at the top of the division who've got young quarterbacks who are, with reps, going to get better. That's part of the problem that they're facing in Dallas.
He's pretty good right now.
But he's not going to get any better, and the guys that are ahead of him in the division, but behind him in age, are going to get better. Dak Prescott is past his prime.
And he makes a lot more money than those quarterbacks.
I don't, that's right. That's the other thing. I don't even mean it as an insult. I just mean it's a problem that Dallas has.
He could have a career year this year, though. Like, this could be the year with George Pickens, with CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson. Again, lack of a running game. Like, he could be throwing the ball
big time
500 times a game.
And it's also going to be 25 interceptions if he's doing that.
That kind of thing.
Juju, let's get to some of the stuff we had on the show today. What were your thoughts on what Nick Wright had to say about Tyreek Hill?
Yes, sir, man. Thank y'all for having me. I got to remind people that, you know what I mean, Tyreek, that's my cousin, so a lot of this stuff be hitting me certain ways. But I agree with Nick Wright, man. It goes for, like, relationships, whether friends, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, and wife. Bro, if you're going to forgive somebody, you got to forgive them. If you chose to bring this man back, then, hey, man, this is a brand new year. We can't still be referring back to whenever we did you wrong. You say you forgive me. Now treat me as the human being that I am. You feel me? So I agree with Brother Nick on that issue.
What cousin is he of yours? How distant? How close?
It's just down the line.
It's not semantics.
Okay. Yeah. Moving on.
It's down the street, around the corner.
Cuban cousins, Dan.
I felt like we got a good and healthy amount of Greg Cody during the first 3 hours of the show, but he disappeared there during the Nick Wright episode.
Yeah, what happened?
And any time that Greg Cody is around, we want to maximize Greg Cody. What did you think of Greg Cody's performance today, Juju?
Yes, sir. The real DBL1 from YouTube today says, I now understand why Juju was such a huge Greg fan. Where is my tattoo artist? And I agree, bro. Today, Greg Cody, you were on a roll. Magnificent. I would pay to listen to an entire podcast of baby Greg Cody just does stuff, whatever you do, bro. Hearing that voice was so amazing. I think I would pay for that, bro.
That was Greg?
Thank you. Juju, thank you very much.
Kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts about Pablo's appearance on the show? Pablo joining us from the Harvard Club to have the big story in sports that Nick Wright says he won't talk about on his show today.
Right. I think that Pablo has reached a certain status and he has bothered a specific type of person that we can no longer say his whereabouts live on air. Like, we got to protect my boy. He got some powerful people that he rubbing elbows with these days. And so I think we should stay away from letting folks know exactly where to find Pablo if we can.
Jude, to that point, so we got an email, company-wide email, like, hey, this is what the story's going to be. And I woke up at like 5 in the morning. Baby was crying. So put her back to sleep finally. And I look at the story, and then I keep reading, and I'm like, okay, Kawhi Leonard, circumvent the cap. I'm like, they're going to kill him one day. Respectfully. But they're going to kill him
It'll
one
be
day.
a respectful murder.
But, I mean, it's like, he's asking for it.
At this point, Dan, like, you got to do something or you're an accessory,
Wow.
Uh-oh.
That show doesn't cost enough. You need me to buy $1,000 a day worth of security for him like we did when we were at the Clevelander after leaving ESPN?
He should at least be holding a piece when he's walking around.
Can't do that.
Just wait till the next episode.
So you want Pablo Torre strapped?
Has he ever been?
What a great spin-off series.
Let's keep working on that Pablo imaging. We need to do a little bit better for when a Pablo drops, okay? When he drops a Pablo.
On the back of my neck. I hate
Again,
it.
a reminder to the audience, 3:30 in the afternoon today Eastern, Pablo will be advancing this story with Amin, Sampson, and others on YouTube.
If he's still with us.
If no one harms him because I haven't hired security or enough security in time.
Yes. Also, one of the things that Pablo reminded me of with this story of just how heavy-handed sometimes these owners could be. It's a quote from Dominique Foxworth. He tweeted this about a month and a half, 2 months ago about the CBA. He said, one of the things I've learned from CBA negotiations is they aren't smarter than us. I think we sometimes are victims of having this belief that because these people have made it to the top of their profession, that they are as good as what they do as we are at what we do. They aren't. And so I think this is a great reminder to what my boy Dominique said. He went on a little bit more about the CBA, but yeah, bro, Steve Ballmer, all these folks, Jerry Jones, man, they just like us making these decisions and sometimes fall straight on their face.
He said, he actually said that he had that realization while negotiating with Jerry Jones. The realization, this person's not actually smarter than I am. Why did I think this person was smarter than I am?
Right. Also, salute to the fans of the show today. I'm going to stay on this topic right now just because I never have a chance to do this. Casey Braun, also Ryan Gully Branchard from Twitter. They always send me great jerseys, you feel me, since I got my jersey stolen in the airport. But a brother named Gabe Renizo, salute to whoever you are. He sent me a quality Dominique Foxworth jersey, bro, in the mail. I got to get this brother a shout out because it's one of the best jerseys I ever got in my entire life. Also, he sent, come on, man. You got to know, man. Andrew Hawkins, I see you, bro. Salute to Gabe Renizo. Salute to Gabe Renizo. Salute to you, brother.
That's Rage Against Twitter. That's the Gabe that helps us with our suies. Shout out to that Gabe.
Bro, that brother sent me 2 of the best jerseys I done had, man. Salute to Gabe. Wow. You got to know.
At Le Batard Show is how it is. You vote on the polls. Let's update some polls. Juju, what do you have for us today?
Yes, sir. Did Mike McDaniel rig the Dolphins captain vote? 86% of the audience says yes, he did.
It's possible.
Also, rest in peace to Stream East. Man, lost a good one today.
R.I.P. The MMA fans knew.
Allegedly.
Right.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Does everyone like coffee? 61% of the audience says no, they do not.
No.
Me neither. Stuff poop. Did you ever think that Mark Whipple was going to be the next big thing? 88% of the audience says no, they did not.
Oh, those are liars.
Also, take the time right now to promote DLS Hoops right now. We got Bro, I got a brand new co-host, man, a permanent co-host now. The show is finna go from 0 to at least around 27. So please, DLS Hoops, check us out. Do you eat the whole shell when you eat a peanut? 89% of the audience says no, they do not.
Of course not.
11% though. The Kiki way.
Right. And the last poll, has Pablo Torre eaten one single peanut in the last 30 years? Pablo. 65% of the audience says no, he has not. And those are your polls.
Close.
Any last thoughts here, Cody? The Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody is out now. Any last thoughts? We didn't promote that today, and I know you were here only because you want that promotion.
Thank you for the mention of my podcast. Go inside the PFPI Fantasy Draft exclusively on the Greg Cody Show podcast. Juju was in.
Gigi's mom's best friend
was in one of our other leagues, and we're happy about that. How about that?
Yes, sir. Come
right.
on, man.
That's right. Let's go.
Greg, with the popularity and success of all these leagues, have you ever considered having a preseason gala as well?
You know what? That's a great idea. I'm going to bring that up at the next board meeting.
It's fine.
No, let's do that.
The next board meeting? Idea. You're spelling that B-O-R-E-D because of how your family members react.